So, Erev Tov, good evening. Our parasha, we have again two parashot we're reading in the Torah this week. Those parasha, I think, most of the years or many years we're reading them together. There is many laws, interesting detailed laws and details that we're learning this week, those two parasha. They are very detailed with many interesting laws. So, first of all, the names of the parasha. The name of the first parasha is Acharei Mot, after the death. Acharei Mot. And again, we're starting with the first day of working in the Mishkan, in the desert, in the tabernacle at the desert. After the celebration, during the celebration, was the big tragedy of the death of two sons of Aharon. Nadav and Avihu died. Where they died? In the tabernacle. Why they died? So last time we said, last parasha that we learned about that, it was in the Parashat Shmini. So we said that after telling the story about the death of the two sons of Aharon, the Torah telling immediately the law of not drinking. Do not drink when you're going inside the temple. And we figure that probably because of that was their problem. They were going inside the temple drinking. We will talk about this subject later. And after that, the Torah starts, as I said, after the passing of the two sons of Aharon. Moshe called Aharon and told them a different law. Not the laws of drinking, that's what we learned then. But what Moshe told Aharon was not that law. He told him something else. He told Aharon, do not enter the Holy of Holies whenever you want. Aharon was the high priest, not a regular priest, he was the high priest. And the Torah Moshe telling Aharon, do not enter the Holy of Holies. This is the holiest room in the holiest place, in Beit HaMikdash. Do not go inside whenever you want. In fact, only once a year, the only person that was going inside the Holy of Holies went there only once a year. Only the high priest, only in Yom Kippur. And then the Torah starts telling whole chapter about the work at Yom Kippur. What was the work at the temple in Yom Kippur? The Yom Kippur work was amazing. All the Jewish people were standing there and only one person worked. Who was that person? Was the high priest. He worked there was, as we said last week, there is the daily sacrifice, and there is special sacrifice of Yom Kippur, and there is special work at the temple, and all the work did Aharon, or the high priest in every generation. Many, yes, Abraham, this we know, yeah. Many type of work was in the temple. There is the temple, the work of the Ktoret, and this, as we talked once, Ktoret is the drugs, the special smell that they put on the Mizbeach, on the small altar, and to put it inside the Holy of Holies and outside, and a lot of details in the work and what the Kohen wearing. There is interesting law about the work of Yom Kippur, that the high priest wearing in most of the work that he's doing in Yom Kippur, he wearing special clothing. We know that the high priest have 8 clothing, hat, and we talked about the tzitz, if you remember, and the shirt and the choshen, it's called, that he have in his, and all the, but in Yom Kippur he didn't wear all of those things. He wear only 4 clothing, and they were from white, only white. And there is many reasons for that, and the simple reason, the known reason, the famous reason is that because all other clothing there were also gold inside, and in Yom Kippur we didn't wear gold. Why? Because gold is reminding of the golden calf, and we don't want to remind in that special day, the day of forgiveness, to remind the golden calf. I will just mention another special work that there is in Yom Kippur, is the taking the one we could call it a calf. They took this calf to Azazel. You heard about Azazel? Yes, it's the mountain in the Judea desert. Actually, there is desert. There is mountain there until today that they saying that this is the same as Azazel. Why they saying? They found first of all, they found many remains of a lot of ships. We had 2 temples for each for 400 years each. And every year they throw one, so there is there more than 800. And there were tabernacles before the temple. So many years they went to this mountain in Yom Kippur, and they found that's what they say. I'm not sure how true is it, but they found remains of this of the calf under the mountain. What was the ritual? They throw this calf, and at the same time at the temple they had this red scarf that was turned into white, and that showed that God forgive this is day of forgiveness, that God forgive all the Jewish sins that happened. Yes, I was there, so I can say I was in Azazel. In Hebrew there is a expression, Lech le'Azazel. It's like it's not a good expression. So if I was there, it's a beautiful place in the desert. Okay. After that, the Torah telling us in the first parasha that we're not allowed to eat blood, very, very strongly against eating blood. And this is connected to what we talked about animals. From one hand, the Torah giving us the permission to eat 10 types of animals. From the other hand, very strongly against eating blood. And again, there is many explanations why is that. What's so terrible about blood? And I explained once that I heard that we need to always stay not to become the animal. We want to get from the animal, but we cannot become the animal itself. And the Torah tells us that the blood of the animal have the soul inside the blood, and the animal have many advantage and good qualities that we can get from the animal, but we don't want to become an animal. So we don't need to take the core, the soul itself of the animal, and it represents in the blood of the animal. And we talked about it once. I just reminding the points. After that, the Torah telling many, a long list, not so long, but a long list of relatives that you cannot marry. It's how you say adultery? No, how you say in English the word? I'm mixing.
It's not adultery, it's incest. I would call it incest when close relatives are married.
There is another word maybe.
Incest, yeah, it's mixture of blood.
There is another word maybe.
Well, not a great specialist on this kind of marriages.
In English, not in the marriage state. Okay.
My life was boring in connection with this kind of,
Um,
you can use incest.
how you said? What is the word?
Incest. It means mixture of blood from the same gender.
Okay.
When they cross over.
Okay. And this is yes, this is also interesting subject for itself. Many years ago, it was considered as a healthy marriage actually, and the kings were preferring to marry close relatives, that the blood will keep the family, and Jewish people was against, and all the world was pro in the idea, and only many years after the world of course understood that it's not healthy. In the Parashat of Kedoshim, this is the second parasha. Kedoshim means holy, being holy, to become holy. The Torah have a long list of mitzvot in this parasha. I will mention few: to honor the parents, and but it cannot become okay, we will not go into that specific. To honor the parents, not to curse the parents, not to steal, not to steal. There is many kinds of stealing. Not to give a bad advice to a person. To rescue another person, if you're seeing a person in danger, to rescue him in any circumstance. Not to hate anyone, to love every Jew, the famous law, to love every Jew, to honor older people, to honor the gerim, not to cheat in business. Another, I would say, another two departments of laws that there is in this parasha. There is the laws considering the field. There is law that if you taking all the food, the what you took from the field, and you forgot 2-3 packages, you should leave them there. You should not go back and take them from the field. Leave them for the poor. The poor can come after. Also, if you collect let's say the wheat, and you make packages from the wheat, and then you see that you didn't notice, and there is few I don't know how to say wheat on the floor, you should not put them in the package. Leave them for the poor. It was very common that the poor people coming in the evening and collect everything that was left. Also, the corner of every field was left for the poor people. It's called the pe'ah, the corner of every field. It's also law. There is okay, I will mention one last law that we have in our parasha, and this is the law, and we will start a little bit to go deeper from that direction. There is the law of Orla. What is Orla? So Orla, it's a law about fruits that existed in the land of Israel. I mean, fruits that grown in Israel. And the law is that if you plant a tree and it was growing, and the first 3 years you're not allowed to eat. And then in the 4th year, you can eat it only in Jerusalem. In the 5th year, you can eat. This is the law. And we're keeping this law until today, of course. It's very important law. That's why when I'm going to Rini in Estonia and I'm looking for fruits, I need to see from where are the fruits. There is fruits that coming from Israel. And I'm not sure who checked that the fruit are not Orla. Oranges, there is oranges from Spain in Estonia, and there is from Israel. In Israel, the oranges come from Turkey. But in Estonia, they coming, I'm joking, but there is many fruits in Israel that's coming out, of course, outside Israel. But here, it's very easy to check, but because there is in every fruit, there is where it's coming from. There is, of course, the law is not so simple. Coming our sages, and simple question, what happened if you had the fruit, you know it's 2 years old, but it got mixed with another fruits that you are allowed to eat. So there is the laws of mixing in the Jewish law. There is a whole book, the laws of mixing, because there is many details about mix. If it's not concerning only this law, it's concerning all kinds of law. If a drop of milk fall into a all cholent bowl of milk, meat, and it's milk and meat, do you allow to eat it? So the laws of mixing, it's many details. So if it's just one drop with a whole bowl, so it's 60 times more. This is the law about meat and dairy. If it's 60 times more, it's not considering exist. It's not existed anymore. There is no taste, there is no impact. You cannot count it. But about Orla, it's not 60 is not enough. 60 is much more, in Orla, it's much more strong from the Torah. The Torah, it's called in Hebrew Chamur. It's more, I'm not sure what will be the exact word, but the Torah is, in Orla, the mixing 60 is not enough. 1,000 maybe can overcome the one fruit. But there is interesting law. There is things that no matter how much, it will not cease to exist. It always will stay, and you will not allow to eat anything. For example, it's for all, it's called in Hebrew Bria. Let's say all animal inside the how you say, bowl or I don't know, of cholent. It's a very big bowl. It's okay. Yes.
Maybe pot. Yep.
Pot. So if all animal, not kosher animal, inside the pot, but the pot is 1,000 times bigger, so big, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that 1,000. Why? Because it's a whole complete creation. It will never cease to exist. This is law of mixing. And another law about Orla, if the fruit I'm not sure how to I would say in general, if the fruit is still connected to the tree. There is trees like the fruit fell from the tree that you are not allowed to eat the fruits because it's 2 years old. But the fruit fell from the tree straight to the box that there is many other fruits that you are allowed to eat. So what was special about this mix? What's special is that the fruit that fell from the tree just now, that you're not allowed to eat, is a fruit that is still connected to the tree. You never took that fruit and looked at it and said, this is now, I took it from the tree. It considered halachically, according to the Jewish law, it considered still connected to the tree. So what? The law is that if something is still connected to the roots, to the tree, it will never cease to exist. You will never say, I'm not counting it. It always exist. And you're not allowed to eat all the rest of the fruits, because maybe it's each and every one of them. This is the law. I'm sorry I just took you inside the law, but I just want to say what we can learn from it. From this law. What is the law? We would say it's simple. If something is connected to the tree, it will never cease to exist. It will never, we will always count it as it is. If it was separate from the tree and it was mixed, we will say, oh, there is 1,000 fruits. So, okay. We're not counting it as something important. Something that is connected to the tree, it's always important. The Rabbi, learning from this law that I'm not sure, by the way, I'm saying how much you understand the reason behind the law. There is reason of everything. Many of them it's easy to understand, but there is a reason behind. But the Rabbi, learning from it that a person have his way of life, have his personality. Like this fruit. I am 2 years old. This is my existence. I'm not allowed to be eaten. A person have his personality. If he will go into the world to work and he will be mixed, there is a chance that he will lose his special identity. He will lose his special qualities. He will lose what he giving to the world. Not maybe 1 on 10, maybe 1 of 60, 1 of 1,000. He would see 1,000 fruits that are different from him. He would say, okay, let's stop being so special, so different. But the law is, if you're staying connected to the tree, it doesn't matter how many different people there is. If you're staying connected, it doesn't matter. You always have your special identity staying intact. What does that mean? So let's leave it for 1 second and start talking about the sons of Aharon. And again, we will go a little bit deeper than usual. I don't know why. This what I had prepared. So our parasha start. The first parasha start. It's called, as I said, Acharei Mot, after the death. After the death. Why it's after the death? So, because it's a whole new world after the death. It was historical story. It was the world before and the world after. Why? As we talked, that what was their problem? So in the Parashat of Shmini, after telling the story of the passing of two sons of Aharon, the Torah said, do not drink. And we learned from it that was their problem. They came into the tabernacle after drinking wine. And this was not good. In our parasha, what is the law that Moshe telling Aharon? Do not go inside the Holy of Holies without permission. You have to have a special way to, and special times to go inside. You're not allowed to enter Holy of Holies. And because that's what Moshe telling Aharon, the father of Nadav and Avihu, right after their death, there is opinion that's saying that was their problem. They went inside Holy of Holies. Now I will read Rashi, the famous commentary on the first pasuk, on the first verse on the Torah. I will just 1 second. Yeah. Rashi explaining on the word, and the Lord spoke unto Moshe after the death of the two sons of Aharon. What is the statement intended to tell us? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah illustrated this by parable. It may be compared to the case of a sick person whom the physician visited. He said to him, do not eat cold thing nor sleep in a damp place. This was the first physician. He told this sick person, you have a sickness, do not eat cold thing, do not sleep in a they call it damp place. Another physician came and said to him, do not eat cold thing nor sleep in a damp place, so that do mist not die as Mr. So-and-so died. Certainly this, the later, put him on his guard more than the former. That is why scripture state after the death of the two sons of Aharon. What does that mean? There is two doctors that talking to a patient. The first doctor saying, do not do this and that. The second doctor saying, do not do this and that, because if you will pass or you will die like they did. That's why the Torah starting after the death of two sons of Aharon, Moshe telling Aharon, do not go into the altar. Okay. Now we need to understand few things in Rashi. It's not only stories, it's deep explanation, and there is many rules how to learn Rashi. Rashi said this story in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. He's one rabbi. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah not necessarily needed to say his name. Many times he's saying, most of the time he's saying explanation, not in the name of the Rabbi that said it. Why he chooses to say his name. Second thing is, why Aharon is sick. He's sick. Why he have this desire to go inside? What's the story here? The story is about sick person that have this desire. What's going on? And here the Rabbi explaining that actually it's the same. We learned that there is two explanations what was the problem of two sons of Aaron. First explanation was that they went after drinking wine to the tabernacle. The second explanation was that they went into the Holy of Holies. The Rabbi explained in depth, in a deeper way, the two problems, the two explanations are the same. What was the problem? As we talked, a person, the whole world was created by the words of God. That's what the Torah is saying. What does that mean, words? As you see, a person, for example, me, can speak for an hour straight. It's not so difficult. But the soul was not created by words. It was created, the Torah said, Vayipach be'avpav. It's blowing. What is the difference between speaking and blowing? Speaking, a person can talk. To blow, how much you can blow? Few seconds. Again and again, and then you're finished. It's representing two types of creating. The soul is a creation. The body is a creation. All the world have only body. I mean, they have a soul, but not a godly soul. That's why they were created in words. Adam, the Torah said that God created him from the ground. Adam is from the word Adama. Adama is sand. I don't know how to call it. Earth. And then the Torah said another thing. Two separate things. Vayipach ba'apav nishmat chaim. God blow inside Adam soul. Two different things. What is the difference? The difference is that this is speaking, this coming from inside, outside, like me. I'm speaking. Why it's so easy to speak? Because it's only here. The work is here. It's something not from inside of me. The same thing about all creation. They coming from God himself, of course, but God did not put himself in the creation. When God created the soul is a godly thing. God put himself in the soul. In the core of the soul is God himself. And this is separate from the body. It's not the same. That's why after the passing, the body in the grave and the soul staying forever. Two different things. If it was one thing, in the passing we were finished. Of course, I'm saying in short. It's not in every sentence here we can go. What does that mean? That they are two separate things. Of course, not the core of the body today is the soul. This is the inside of the body. But it's in general there are two separate things. How it's connected to what we're talking today? The body represents the way of serving God by being connected to the world and serving God in the world, doing the mitzvot, going to work. And as I said, many of the mitzvot that we learn today: do not lie in business, do not give a bad advice, if you see a person in danger, go and save him. This is serving God in the body, meaning connected to the world. Do not be separated. Do not be separated from the world. Yes. God created us here, and He wanted us to be here. The soul have desire, a different desire. The soul is inside our body, but what the soul wants? The soul wants to be connected to God as to himself, not through the world, not to do what he wants in the world by doing business as God wants. I'm connected to God. I don't want it. I want to be connected to God himself. To feel God. This is the desire of the soul. When we saying that the two sons of Aharon died in the temple, in the tabernacle. Why? Because they drank wine. So, as we learned, what does drinking wine means? Drinking wine means that I'm revealing the deeper side of me. What is drinking? A person that is drinking is being more revealed. When you are a holy person, what you're revealing? You're revealing the inside of you, the holy side of you. Or if you're saying the other explanation that we're learning in our Parashat, they went into the Holy of Holies. What does that mean? They search for holiness. They search to be separated from the world. They wanted to be connected to God as the neshama wants to be separated from the body. The body is limiting the neshama, the soul. The soul wants to be separated, to go back. So they reveal the soul so much until the soul left the body. And that was their death. And this is the meaning of the two explanations that we said. They drink wine, they went inside the Holy of Holies. The same thing. Okay? This is the deeper explanation of their mistake. What was so mistaken that thing? The mistake is because God created you here. He doesn't want you to leave. You will leave when He tells you to leave. But you are here, it means that you need to stay here. But our parasha, as I said, starting after the passing. Because it's a different world. Why? What's so special? What's so special is that the Jewish people understood a whole new level of serving God. We cannot serve God only in the way of being inside the world. Like the fruit that is separated from the tree. We always need to be connected to the tree. If we will separate from the tree, we will mix with 100. We can mix with 500. We can mix with 1,000. And we can be part of it. In the end, we will lose our specialty. We need to be connected to the roots. What does that mean? It means that from time to time, a person needs to do what they tried to do, the sons of Aharon. Not in their way. They forgot that you need to come back. You cannot be only there. But you need to remember that you have roots. You need to be connected to them. And if you're not being connected to the roots, you can forget everything. The roots of the soul. What is the roots of the soul? The soul is love and fear and feeling of God. Feeling connected. This is the soul. The soul is all understanding and feeling. This is the whole body of the soul. The body of the soul is the 10 Sefirot. What is the 10 spiritual Sefirot? Lina, I'm sure you. 10 Sefirot. No, I'm saying I'm talking also to you because you know the 10 Sefirot. Yeah, of course, Avraham. 10 Sefirot, what are they? They 10 ways of being connected to God by understanding, by feeling. Chokhmah, Binah, Da'at, it's understanding. Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet, love, judgment. It's all ways of connecting to God. So, when we say that from time to time a person need to be more connected to the roots, it means that he need a little bit to close his eyes and to strengthen his belief. And this is why the Jewish day starts with prayer. Because before I'm going out, I need to a little bit to go back. And then I can be sure that I'm not too mixed. Of course, I need to be mixed until the end, because this is where God putting you. But if you remember to do this, the proper preparation in the morning, you can be mixed afternoon. And there we coming back to Aharon. Moshe coming to Aharon, telling him, Aharon, do not repeat their mistake. Do not drink wine. Do not go inside. So we asked, why Rashi giving this strange story? Aharon was sick. He was not sick. Why he will desire to go against the laws of God? And this is the answer. Aharon probably had the same problem. He felt this desire to be closer to God. He felt this soul so much. This is the answer. But I'm just to show how everything is accurate. That's why I mentioned all. There is few questions and it's also connected. I will not go into all the details. Why not to sleep in this specific days? What is the example that Rashi is giving? It's all connected. But I will just mention one point to see how accurate it is. As I said, the Rashi usually not saying the name of the rabbi, of the Rabbi, that's saying what he's saying. In our case, Rashi is saying, who is the Rabbi? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Who is Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, we learned about him in the Agadah, actually, that we said in Pesach. I did not mention him in the Agadah that we had in English, but what is the story? There was a very interesting story. There were a time that when was it? It was, I think, after the destruction of the Second Temple. So the Jewish High Court, for some reason, that it was a story and it came that they needed to have a new leader to the court. It's called Nasi Av Beit Din, the leader of the Jewish yeshiva that deciding what is the halakha. And we're talking about more than 2,000 years. We're talking about times that the Jewish law still was established. And they chose Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. What was the problem? Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was 18 years old. He was a child. And they chose him. Of course, he was 18, he was a child, but he was married already. In that time, of course. So he didn't know what to do. So what he did, he asked his wife, what do you think? And he telling her, I even don't have beard. I'm so young. How can I be the leader of the court of the Jewish? And she encouraged him to accept the offer. How she encouraged him? Doesn't matter. But she, and the story goes that he was going to sleep, and in the morning, he wake up with an all new beard. And then he felt comfortable to go. What is the meaning of the story? And we're saying in the Agadah, I will just mention, he's saying there in the Agadah, I am like 70 years old. Like. And what is the meaning of like? So the explanation of that is, it was in the same day that he became the leader of the Jewish yeshiva, of the high yeshiva, and he was 18 years old. He was not 70. But he was saying, I'm like. And what is the meaning of the story? Why they offered him to be the president if he was so young and so the president, the Rabbi of the rabbis? And the explanation of that is that he was son after son to the very big Jewish leaders. He had coming from a very famous family that all the fathers there was a very, very, very big rabbis. And now the question is, so what? So what? So he coming from a good family. It doesn't mean that. So in that case, it meant a lot. Why? What was this miracle that his beard was growing? Well, what is the meaning of this miracle? The meaning of the miracle is that he was, because of his fathers, he was a very good student of his father. And his father was a very good student of his father. And it meant that he was not 18 years old. He was 18 years old in physical life. But his power, his intelligence, his knowledge, his leadership was like 70 years old. He coming from the right family, and he had inside him, but it needed to be revealed. I will say two stories to explain that a little bit. Two episodes. In Chabad, in the community of Chabad, our Rabbi is the seventh Rabbi. There is a story about the fourth Rabbi. The fourth Rabbi is the only Rabbi that was born when his father was already Rabbi. He didn't know his grandfather. Means he was only his father's youngest son. He had above him a lot of brothers that were rabbis, very big rabbis. When he was born, he was born as the youngest. He after the passing of his father, he was continuing the community, the leadership of the community. But he was born. Already his brothers were rabbis when he was born. And he always have an argument with his brothers. Who was older? But his brothers, of course, saying, we are older than you. But he said, you don't understand. I'm older if we counting when he was a child. If we counting the years of our father, of course I'm older than you. What is the meaning of this? Why would we count the years of your father? I mean, we arguing who is older, me or you? And of course you are younger. Why we would count the years of your father? The meaning of that is that you don't understand. You are older than me if I'm separated from my father. But I am not separated from my father. I'm a continuation. All the wisdom that my father got, all the holiness, he was giving it to me. And I'm starting where he stopped. I'm continuing him. So this is a little bit connected to what we're talking today. That a true continuation can be a father that not so much connected to the son. He did not give everything to the son. But there is children that continuing their father, meaning they got everything from and continuing, so they starting in a high level. There is another story that will give us a different example of a different point of view, of another. There is a story after the passing of one of the first Rabbis of Chabad, and they wanted to choose a new leader to the community, and they approached one of the biggest, holiest people in the community, and they asked him to continue to be the new leader. And he thought about it. In the end, he decided that he will. And they called a wagon, a carriage, how we call it, a wagon with horses, to take him to the new synagogue. I don't know, to continue to start. And he was going there, and he put his foot on the step to go inside the wagon. It was a step. And then after he put his foot, he decided, I am not worthy, I will not continue. And then the son of the Rabbi become the Rabbi, but this is a different story. But he's saying that when I put my foot on the wagon, to go inside, meaning I was there to accept the leadership, my mind was open. I saw everything in that second. That's what he's saying. Why? He become a leader. When he decided to become the leader, his whole mindset changed. His powers that he didn't know that he feeling was revealed, that he having. His mind was open. Why? Because when you're accepting something, new challenge, so you're revealing something inside. Of course, if you're accepting leadership, so new powers being revealed. So this is just to explain what happened to Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah was a very, very, very special person. Even though he was a child, he was 18, and he was continuing his fathers. It was not just, they didn't choose only him. They choose only all the family. And when he decided, the beard grew. What does that mean? He revealed inside him all the powers that he got inside him. So how is all this connected to Rashi that explaining the story of Aharon? Rashi want to tell us, why would Moshe think that Aharon have the same problem of the children? They had a problem. They couldn't resist their soul. Moshe didn't have the problem. Why Aharon have the problem? Why we need to tell him, to encourage him not to do the same mistake, to tell him, after the passing of your two children, your two sons passed away because of that. Do not repeat their mistake. Why? What's your... Okay, I understand. Why? Because from where they got their special desire to be connected to God so much. From their father. That's why Rashi said Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. Because Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, all the powers that he got from his father. If you passing it in the special, in the proper way, your son get everything. So Moshe knew, of course, Elazar and Nadav and Avihu, the two sons of Aharon, passed away because they have this special quality. It's a good thing. They had this special desire to be connected to God Himself. How they got this desire from their father. That's why Rashi, we see how accurate the explanation, because Rashi specifically mentioning the name of the person to hint us, to tell us a hint, why we would think that Aharon need a special warning. Look at Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, because these two sons of Aharon had this special desire because of their father. Let's summarize what we talked today. We have the Orla, the fruit. As long as it connected to the tree, to the roots, cannot be mixed. I mean, it can be mixed. It should be mixed, maybe. It can be mixed, but it will never be. It will never stop being as it is, connected to the tree, 2 years old. It will stop. It will never start being as all the other fruits. Why? Because it's still connected. The same thing we can learn about Aharon, Nadav, and his two sons. His two sons wanted to reveal, Nadav and Avihu wanted to reveal their connection to the roots. But they didn't stop. They didn't know how to stop. And God wants you to be connected to the world, not being separated. That's why they had a problem. But we should not be mistaken to think that we need to separate from our soul. This desire in the soul is a good desire that each and every one have inside him, and it should be revealed in a person. Why? Because if you are not connected, you will miss your special identity, your special quality, what you giving to the world. If you deciding to be like anyone else, you're missing the point. So every day you should reveal your core, your inside, your godly side, your godly spark. I don't know, every day, once a week, once a month, 3 times a day. So this is what we can learn from the two sons of Aharon. And this is the explanation on Rashi, is that Rashi is saying Aharon was having the same sickness, because he was have this desire to always be connected to God in a revealed way, like the soul. And that's why he was warning him to not do the same mistake as his son. And we explained that this is also the reason that he giving the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah. By the way, we also mentioned the idea of body and soul, that they are two separate things in a human being, and this is the special way that God created a person, that he connect two opposite things. The soul going up, the body is going down. The two opposite things. And our work is to connect between the two, to have the desire to go up, but to use this energy, that the desire to go up, to use it in our work, in a daily basis, to be connected to God in all the things that we're doing during the day. This is the point of today.